What's going on, boys? It's your boy Max, back again with another video. Just got back from the gym and I met this guy today at the locker room. He may even be watching this video, man, but young guy, and we was just chopping it up, and he asked me about what I do. I told him I'm a coach. I told him I do male self-improvement, and he was telling me about how he's struggling with quitting weed, right? Because we spoke about, how I'm 4 years sober and my sobriety journey, right? And he asked me this question. He said, how'd you quit, right? What did it take? And I want to take this video to answer the question, his question, and to just speak about what it truly takes for you to make a major shift in your life, right? Whether that be quitting a bad habit, whether that be going from someone who doesn't attract any woman to someone who does, whether that be for someone who's out of shape to someone who's in the best shape of their life. All of these different types of people experienced major shifts in their life because they weren't just born like that. They weren't just born disciplined. They weren't just born fit. They weren't just born charismatic and like super attractive, right? The people who made major transformations like myself, we all had to have the initial transformation, which was in the mind. And that is just simply an identity shift. And I spoke about this with him a little bit, but I want to get into detail about what that actually means. An identity shift is just changing the way you perceive yourself. People always talk about fake it till you make it. And I'm a strong proponent of that. You gotta fake it till you make it. If you're trying to quit a vice, if you're trying to get in shape, if you're trying to attract more women, doesn't matter what you're trying to do. If you're not acting like that person that does all of those things right now, you need to start acting like it. It's just simple as that. Because when I wasn't quitting, when I was still struggling with my addictions, I identified myself as the person who can't quit. I identified myself as the person who, just smokes all day, every single day, and goes about life that way. As the stoner, right? And I bet you identify yourself in a certain way too. Maybe you're the guy who's a virgin. Maybe you're the guy who can't attract women. Maybe you're the guy who has been overweight his entire life or skinny fat his entire life like me. Well, you have this identity of yourself in your mind. And that identity is so strong. You know why? Think about the holy books, right? In the three major holy books, what is the name of God? One of the many names of God is I am. I am who I am, right? I am. And so that statement is so powerful because every single time you say that you are something, you are basically aligning yourself with your most divine self. And so the universe, God, has And so the universe has no choice but to reflect back what you say you are. So if you say that you are not charismatic, if you say that you are overweight, if you say that you are a stoner, if you say you are this or that, you are basically stamping it. And the universe is like, yep, you're right. That's exactly what you are. You're overweight, you're a stoner, and you're not attractive. And so in order to first have that identity shift, you need to start saying, I am what you actually want to be. I am fit, right? I am attractive. I'm a millionaire. I'm the best version of myself. I'm sober. All of these things, whatever you want to achieve, you have to start saying it. You literally have to speak it into existence. Because until you feel like you can actually say it out loud, it will never happen. Because you don't even believe in your mind that it can happen. You don't even see a reality, a possibility of this ever happening. And so how do you expect to get there if you don't see it? If you're trying to drive to a destination, right? If you can't imagine yourself in the destination, you probably won't get there, right? Like you probably won't get there. If you're trying to go somewhere that you have no idea, like you've never seen this place in your life, not pictures and videos, movies, none of that, right? You're trying to go to a place that doesn't exist. Well, then it's going to be very hard for you to reach it, right? You're going to end up somewhere else. And so it's the same thing with your goals. If you can't visualize it, if you can't visualize yourself with a six pack, you can't visualize yourself being the guy who attracts women effortlessly, being the guy who is sober now after being addicted to vices his entire life. If you can't imagine that, well then, how do you ever expect to actually make it come into fruition? You can't. You can't. So be conscious about the way that you speak about yourself. Be conscious about it. Every time you do something that you don't like, we tend to have this negative self-talk. Right? I'm very hard on myself, very hard on myself. But even I catch myself when I'm being too hard. Because if I just call myself in names, I don't have to say it out loud, but I can say it in the back of my mind. If I call myself names, if I say that I'm this, I'm that, all of the things that I don't want to be, why would I say that I'm that, right? I'm just reinforcing that statement inside my mind, reinforcing that thought, training my subconscious mind to identify myself as the person who's those things that I don't want to be, right? If I lose something, am I going to call myself a loser? Okay, I could call myself a loser, and then next time it's time to do the same thing, next time it's time to win some shit, my subconscious mind is going to be like, what do you mean you want to win? Like, you just said you're a loser. So that's what you're going to be. So you have to watch the way you speak about yourself. Like, for real. A lot of times we tend to be so hard on ourselves, which, there's a balance. You have to hold yourself accountable 100%. You have to be strict with yourself 100%. But you also need to learn that the way that you speak to yourself is powerful. It's powerful. Be strict with yourself. Be harsh. But don't call yourself things that you don't want to be. If anything, use it as a way to trick your mind, right? So let's say sometimes, like, if I'm in the gym and I'm pushing a set and I have a couple reps in me and it's getting really hard, like I feel like I'm going to give up, I'll be like, yo, listen, you don't hit these last 2-3 reps, then you're a bitch. Like, I'll tell myself in the back of my mind, I'll be like, yeah, you're a bitch if you don't hit these reps. And then boom, that gives me like the motivation, that gives me the power boost to hit the reps. You feel me? So you can use it as a motivation thing, but even if I didn't hit the reps, I'm not just gonna be like, oh, I'm a bitch. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna be like, damn, okay, I gave it all I had. That must have been really hard for me. And that's it. So number one is always identity shifting. Be conscious of the way you speak to yourself. Be conscious of the things that you do, which leads me to point number two. Once you've associated yourself with a certain identity, as the guy who has a six pack, as the guy who attracts women, as the guy who has no vices, once you've identified and you can say it out loud, right? You can say it out loud. Even if it may not be true in the moment, you need to be able to say it out loud. Like, look yourself in the mirror and literally say it. I don't care if it sounds corny, do it. Do it every day when you wake up. Do it before you go to sleep. Those are the times when your mind is the most programmable, right? When you wake up and when you go to sleep. What you do in those times matters. So go in that mirror, tell yourself everything you want to be, and accept that that's what you are. plant that seed. Once you plant the seed, which is your thought, which is you saying, I am blank, well, then you need to water it. How do you water the seed, Max? Through your actions. You could say, oh, I'm fit. But if every single time you're faced with a decision that a fat person would make or a fit person would make, right? The fat person would go to Shake Shack. The fit person would stay and cook at home, cook the ground beef at home. You're faced with this decision. If you keep making the decisions of a fat person, it doesn't really matter what you say. You're still gonna be fat, right? So now you need to start aligning your actions with your words. Be a man of your word, right? You said you have a six-pack, cool. Make decisions like someone with a six-pack would. And we all know what to do, right? We all know that, oh, the guy with the six-packs probably wouldn't eat that shit. The guy with the six-pack will probably cook at home. The guy with the six-pack will go to the gym to do cardio even if it's a rest day. The guy who can attract women with ease will probably take a lot of pictures, right? He would probably work on his social skills. He'll probably get in the gym and improve his looks. He'll probably get that haircut. We know, like, what we gotta do. But when we're faced with the decisions, it's so easy to fall into the decisions of our past self. But you need to fully accept that that's not you anymore. That's not you. And what the beautiful part about it is that once you start taking those actions, little by little, right? You don't have to go like 0 to 100. Just little by little. You used to wake up, wake and bake, wake up and beat your dick. Now you wake up, you do a cold shower, right? Maybe you're not waking up at 5:30 like me. You wake up at your time. But you do a cold shower right away. You go on a run. Maybe you used to skip breakfast. You used to have like a bagel and a coffee. No, now you wait 2 hours before you have your coffee. You go get some steps and then you cook a healthy breakfast. Start taking those little daily actions that align yourself with the version of yourself that you strive to be. Water that seed. And it's so beautiful because you may not see the results in a day, but you will see it like a few months. You will see like you will look inside that mirror and it's like every single time you repeat that statement, I'm confident, I'm fit, I'm attractive, I'm this, I'm that, right? The first time you said these things, you felt like you were a complete fucking liar, right? You probably said it, your voice was shaking, you were not confident, you couldn't even look at yourself in the mirror, right? You was avoiding eye contact with yourself. But then by the 10th time, by the 20th time, by the 50th time, after you've been doing all those little daily actions, you notice that you start to say the statement with a lot more confidence. And that's how you know that you're actually making progress. Because you feel it inside before you see it on the outside. You may not see the muscles pop up right away, it takes time. But you know that you're becoming a fit person by the way that you start to carry yourself, by the way you start to say that I am statement. Because you start to actually believe it through the actions. And like, even with my clients, I have all the systems they need to become attractive. I have all the systems they need to attract women. I have all the systems they need to get in the best shape of their life. But I don't just throw everything I know on them right away and be like, here, good luck. Right? When you go to school, they don't just give you the whole course and throw it on you and tell you good luck, have you take the finals. No, you gotta work your way up to it. You're not ready for all that shit yet. You need to break down that old frame that you had, that old mindset. You need to break that shit down and then you need to rebuild it with a new one, with a new frame, a new mindset, a new identity. And that takes time, right? You can't just expect to tear that shit down and build a new frame, build a new identity all in a day. right? Through a couple statements and a couple cold showers, a couple gym sessions, a couple photo shoots. Can't do that. But this is how you actually achieve the goals that you have. This is how you turn into a new person. And I'm telling you, G, 6 months, 1 year, forget about it. You can change your entire life in 1 year. You can be a whole new person. 2027 is going to come. You could be a whole new person if you start today. By the time you're done with this video, if you start, write down, this is what I want you to do. Take out your journal, write down all of the things that you want, and then accept that that's you. Okay, you want to be fit, you want to have six-pack abs, you want to have a V-taper physique, you want to have a girlfriend, you want to have, again, 50 matches a week on dating apps, you want to have whatever you want. You want to quit your vices, write it all down, and then create I am statements around that. And you're going to say these things out loud every single day when you wake up, when you go to sleep. Even better, if every single time you're in the bathroom and you see a mirror, you say it. You look yourself in the eyes and you say it. You're going to say these statements. You're not going to be confident in saying them. It's going to sound like you're a liar. And then over time, I want you to start implementing actions that align with those things that you wrote down. You know what you got to do. Start working on it and keep repeating that statement. Keep repeating that statement. And don't just say it to yourself. When people speak to you, say it to them too. This is important because you could tell yourself, oh, I quit. Let's say, for example, I quit alcohol. You could tell yourself in the mirror that, but it's a lot harder to actually lie to somebody else. Like someone asks you, oh, yo, do you drink? No, and you know damn well that you actually do drink. Like, you know damn well you're going to get a drink sometime this week. Maybe you're trying to slow down, but you're going to get a drink, right? You haven't fully quit yet. Not yet. No, you're going to tell them, I don't drink. Is it going to be a lie? Sure, it's going to be a lie, but who gives a fuck? Who gives a fuck? Over time, you're going to align yourself with that man who doesn't drink, and it's going to become the truth. Thing about facts is that facts can change. Just because something is a fact doesn't mean it's set in stone, right? You could be an alcoholic today and sober tomorrow. What's the difference between the two? There's no time limit on it. No one said that, oh, you have to be a certain amount of time without alcohol to be officially sober. You have to be a certain amount of time in the gym to be officially fit. No, you started your journey, you're fit now, right? You're sober now. You're attractive now. You may not get the exact results that you want. That takes time, of course. But you must align yourself with that identity. And that's only going to happen through the way you speak to yourself, the way you speak to other people. It's going to be a lot harder because it's a lot harder to lie to others than just to say I am statements in front of a mirror to yourself when no one's really judging you for it. And then you have the habits, you create a system around it, and you follow that system every single day to the best of your ability. That's how you make an identity shift. That's how I did it. That's how I quit all my vices. From smoking, drinking, lean, perks. What else? All type of shit in high school. That's how I got in the best shape of my life. That's how I went from having awkward ass social skills, zero social skills, to being able to speak to any woman I want, to getting 30 plus matches every single week on dating apps. That's how I did it, right? And so now I'm sharing it with you guys. Follow this. Shoot me a DM on Instagram. Let me know how it's been going for you. If you have any questions. And if you don't know how to create that system for yourself, you don't know how to implement those routines for yourself so that you can align yourself with that identity of the best version of you, well then, click the link in my bio in the description. Book a one-on-one call with me to see if you're a good fit for my coaching program. I don't take on just anybody. If you're someone who you're like a low life and you're just thinking about getting in shape, you're just thinking about quitting your vices, you're just thinking about attracting more women, if you just like the way it sounds, it's not for you, right? But for the guys who are actually serious and are willing to do whatever it takes, you just need some guidance, you need a system, you need accountability. Click that link, book a call with me. We're going to speak about your situation, your goals, what you're trying to achieve, and we're going to discuss if my program is even a good fit for you or not. But check out the Instagram. Always post daily stories, daily reels. You can always shoot me a DM, answer all my DMs. And I love when you guys send me wins to my DMs. Like, that shit always makes me feel good. So if you like this video, be sure to leave a like, subscribe. See you boys in the next one. Stay dangerous.